How's everybody doing tonight? We're going to wait just a few minutes to give everyone a chance to get comfortable, grab your tea or your drink, and settle in. I'm also going to get us hooked up here on Instagram as well. All right. Hi, Pamela. How are you? Getting all tucked in for our storm that we're getting? All right, I'm going to wait one more minute as people join and I get hooked up on Instagram here. And we're going to get right into day 3, when plans change, coping and communicating. Let's see. Okay. Good evening, Instagram. Welcome to day 3 of Confident in Birth and Beyond. Today we're talking about coping and communicating when the birth plan changes. So as usual, I'm double streaming. My attention will be down at Facebook, so stay with me, leave your comments, and I will be sure to get back to you. All right, Pam is with us. Nicole, hi. Pamela says, I'm just chiming in quick to get good vibes. I was admitted today for preeclampsia, starting induction process currently, which I hope progresses well. 34 weeks for my baby boy. Sending you all the love, all the good energy, all the baby vibes. Where are you? Where are you birthing? Which facility? Oh. Today's a good day to chime in. And I'm glad you've been practicing your communication. Talk about the birth plan changing, absolutely. And yesterday you said you were practicing communication with your partner just for this instance, definitely. Wishing you luck, love, health, and a gentle induction. You are at Sisters. Very good. All right. I'll be thinking of you. Definitely keep us posted if you can. I know we're probably last on your list. So today we've got our worksheet number 3, unit 3, when plans change, coping and communication. As you're joining, say hello. How are you doing? And how are you feeling? How are you feeling on day 3? What's been going through your mind is we've gone through day 1 and 2, we've gone through birth planning, we've gone through childbirth education, and that's kind of, the what's. What is it that you want? Childbirth education begins to give you the how, and then we take it further even more. We don't talk a lot about the why, but that's like the underlying, push that is the catalyst to the what and the how, right? And so the why. Why do you want the things that you want? And Pamela, if you're still with us, just creating that feeling. So if you're hopping on now, Pamela is with us and she said she was admitted for preeclampsia, starting induction process currently. And so her plans are changing. That's what we're talking about today. And how we can't always control it. Birth isn't linear. It's up and down and all around. And so how do we cope and communicate when our plans change? And it's really not about that end result. Yes, happy baby, healthy mom, but it's not so much how the baby got here, it's how you felt in the process, creating that feeling, cultivating that feeling, and maintaining that feeling throughout the process, even when things do have to change. So, what is it that you want to feel? How are you going to create that feeling? How are you going to maintain that feeling? And so, hopping right into our worksheets, we're going to go right through this today. There are many ways which the plans can change: mental and emotional shifts, a change of heart and a change of mind, or unexpected circumstances. So I write that as the first sentence because I want you to know that plans can change unexpectedly due to medical conditions, but they can also be on your terms, right? It can be a change of heart and a change of mind, a shift in mental or emotional status. It doesn't always have to be this very emergent, chaotic, scary thing. Amber's with us, Kimberly's with us. Hello, hello. So knowing that it can be sort of a controlled, calm thing if it's coming from within you, but yes, there are always unforeseen circumstances that can happen. And so moving through the worksheet, coping through the unknown can be made easier by creating birth principles. So we did this in day 1 briefly at the end. Part of your homework was to flip over your birth plan and create your principles. So I'm just going to give an example. Assuming, or for me, for example, saying I want a natural drug-free birth. So flipping over your sheet, saying what it is that you want, and then asking why. Why do I want what I want? And then keep asking yourself why. Well, why do I want that? Answer that question. Well, why do I want that? Answer that question. And keep asking yourself why until you get emotional about it, until it creates a body response. That is your birth principle. That is uncovering your deep down desires, your deep down values and principles that guide you. It's what makes you who you are, and it's what informs your decisions. So the birth planning is, this is what I want. Childbirth education is a small piece of how you're going to do it, but it's that why component, that deep down value, that motivation, that determination that kind of brings it all together, and it's that catalyst that moves you forward through your birth plan. And so creating those principles can make coping through the unknown easier. It was briefly discussed in Unit 1, and I just went over it. So did anyone do that? Hi, Catherine. Catherine, how are you? I've been thinking about you. Let me know how you are, or send me a personal message if you want to do that. I've been thinking about you. In Unit 1, in the comments, let me know if you created your birth principles. And if you want to share them, I'd love to read them. I think that that's so important. That's what's guiding all of your decisions. And so getting into examples of how plans can change, 3 examples of unplanned medical interventions are, and my paper's filled in, and you could list a whole bunch of them. So take a minute and list for me some examples of medical interventions. Maybe it's some that you've had in a previous experience, some that you have heard of from friends or family, some that you are fearful of, that you're hoping to avoid, and you're wanting to know how to cope with those. What are some examples of medical interventions or medical ways that your birth plan can change? Where are we? Milo in the background. All right. So 3 examples of unplanned medical interventions. To name a few: induction, epidural, and cesarean. And so there's a whole bunch more that actually sort of branch off of the induction component of it. But those are just a few examples of ways the plan can change due to medical procedures. Now, I mentioned earlier too, it could be mental, emotional shifts, change of heart or mind. It could be coming from you internally, and that's okay as well. Sometimes I feel like that's more of a challenge for you because then you have this sort of struggle of dealing with, did I make the best decision, this guilt or this shame or this judgment. And so that's something that we want to unpack and work through. If you do change your mind, how are you feeling about that decision in the moment, but then also after it happens? We're going to get right into that here. The biggest non-medical invention there is. I did a live on this in the group. Can anyone tell me what the biggest non-medical intervention is? Amber, preeclampsia, high blood pressure, breech. Yep, those are good examples of the way the plans can change medically, for sure. Let's see. The Hunter, hi Hunter. All right, the biggest non-medical intervention. Who knows it? I did a live on it in the group before, a few weeks ago. What do we think that is? I love to talk about it. I'm just steeping my tea over here. All right, the biggest non-medical intervention is fear, right? It's all in the mindset. What you have to remember when making decisions is that if you are saying yes to something in the moment, you have to be okay with saying yes to its consequences. Amber, this all happened with Octavia. I was trying to go all natural in the water, but as soon as I saw my midwife wasn't there, I freaked out. So thank you for sharing that. So this is a great example of how mindset and the non-medical intervention of our fear and our emotions can lead to the medical interventions. This is such a great example of what we're going to dig deep into tomorrow and the day after, which I have to side note on that. The whole week might get shifted after tonight. I have a client going in for an induction at midnight tonight. So I may be at a birth tomorrow. I will keep the group posted if I'm rescheduling our live. If I do, everything's getting shifted a day, not counting the weekend, so we might get bumped into next week. So we shall see. But great example of how our thoughts actually create physical reactions in the body, which then manifest outwardly. So a very powerful example of how our thoughts can create our reality, for sure. Thank you, Amber, for sharing that. It is fear. Amber, and I just went downhill after that. If you want to, you don't have to. If you want to share in the comments, let's see, we're trying to go all natural, preeclampsia, high blood pressure. Did you end up delivering vaginally? Was it a cesarean? If you want to share anything else, please feel free in the comments. And so we'll go over that again. What you have to remember when making decisions is that if you're saying yes to something in the moment, you have to be okay with saying yes to its consequences and everything that comes along with it. And I actually just had a client sort of reword this for me, and I loved how he said it. And he said, this is something we say at work all the time, is, do you really want what that means? And I was like, that's such a great reframe and a great new way to word it. Like, I'm wanting this, this instant satisfaction, this instant gratification, but do I really want what it means in the long term? So that is something to think about in a non-emergent case when you do have time to sort your thoughts and take time to think about it and ask questions and understand your benefits, your risks, alternatives. And so remembering that when you want something in this moment, it is temporary, but the guilt can last forever. So again, going back to, do I really want what this means? If I'm saying yes in the moment, you have to be okay with saying yes to everything that goes along with it. Your biggest and strongest tool is your mindset. And we're going to dig deep into this tomorrow if I'm not at a birth. And then the next day, we're talking about mindset, but we're going to talk about it in a different way. There's all different kinds of mindsets. Let's see. So when you make decisions, we want to use this acronym BRAIN. So who has heard of the acronym BRAIN or know what each letter stands for? Let me know in the comments. If you know, if you're watching the replay, let me know if you've used this. It's just also a great tool. Again, once again, tying pregnancy back to life. It's really just a very, pregnancy is a microcosm or a representation of life, coping skills, communication skills. All of that is handy in everyday life. So when making a decision, using the acronym BRAIN. Let me know if you've used it or heard of it or know what each of the letters stand for. And we're going to go over that. So BRAIN stands for benefits, risks, alternatives, intuition, and nothing, or not now. And so when you are faced with a decision and you have to decide how you're going to proceed, understand and ask, what are the benefits of X, Y, or Z proceeding with the change of plan? What are the risks associated with X, Y, Z and proceeding with the change of plan? What are my alternative options? That's a big one. And I say that's a big one because sometimes I see what I call the hidden menu syndrome. And I just made that up myself. So if you didn't know, side note, if you didn't know, Chipotle has a hidden menu. So when you go in and you look up at the menu, you think that you're given all of your options. You think that you're making an informed decision when in fact you could be asking for something that's not on the menu. And so when asking about alternatives, you really want to dig into that part of the brain, the brain decision-making process, because sometimes you think that you're presented with all of your options because your provider is saying, these are like the only 2 or 3 options you have, when in reality there might be more. And so you think that you're making an informed decision because you've been told these are the options, but behind door number 2, there might be some more alternatives. So understanding what those are ahead of time and then applying the brain. Benefits, risks, alternatives. Once you have all of this information, really dig in deep and use your intuition to guide you, right? Or your instincts. And that's the I part of brain. Really digging into that gut feeling. It is said that our gut has its own gut brain, and that's where we energetically receive information, right? Our brain, like our thinking brain, can think and decide and be logical, but like our gut gets energetic information and really can sense when things are in alignment with what we want, or if it's not in alignment and it doesn't feel good. So really use that intuition, that instinct to help make your decision. Hi, Nicole. Let's see here. Replying to Pamela. Pamela Sue, you've got this. Amber, I didn't have any of the medical issues, but I am fearful for them. Even though I don't have bad pregnancies or anything, I did birth vaginal, but I caved again for an epi, and my back is so messed up. I have so much guilt for it. I feel like I can't tell my labor story because I'm embarrassed. I was also given Pitocin before I could say no, which is horrible. Not that you got the epidural. I hope that you can find a way to release that guilt, but the fact that you got Pitocin before you could say no is an absolute no-no. And I'm sorry that happened to you for sure. And so yeah, like really just unpacking that story and finding ways to release the guilt. Sidebar to that, if you Google cord cutting meditations, it's a guided meditation, and you could make it specific, like cord cutting meditation to release guilt. You could make it specific to whatever you're looking for, and it's a guided meditation that will help you to visualize. Like you have this energetic cord that's connecting you to something that's not serving you, guilt, fear, whatever it is, and then using that visualization to sever, to cut that cord and release and let go of those things. So Google cord cutting meditation to release guilt, and hopefully that helps. That is actually one of my fears as a doula, is having my clients feel judged or guilt or shame for any choices that they make that maybe we didn't discuss, but they change their mind throughout the process. And that's okay. It is absolutely okay to do what you felt best at the time, especially if you were given Pitocin without consent. Then your contractions are much more intense, longer, stronger, harder, irregular, unnatural. It just feels unnatural. So no wonder you wanted the epidural. And that's okay. And sort of just unpacking that guilt and saying, is it realistic for me to hold on to this? How is holding on to this guilt serving me? Is it helping me move forward? Is it helping me make decisions for the next time? How is holding on to it serving me? What is it doing? Um, Amber also said, and then the whole placenta issue that happened, you mentioned last night. Yep. Yep. And so practicing these conversations, which we're going to do on a bonus day next week, practicing conversations. All right. Thank you for sharing that, Amber. And maybe just little bits like sharing like that will even just help to release some of that feelings that you have. So the N part of brain is nothing or not now. And I always encourage partners to really, if they remember one thing, it's the N in brain. Because again, we can have all the tools, we can have all the whats, right? We can have all the plans, and this is what I want. We can have all the hows, right? All the childbirth education, all the strategies, all the plans. But if we don't merge them all together with your why, your motivation, and we're not implementing them and integrating them into our lives daily, we don't have the confidence to follow through. And so the N in brain gives you that chance to practice the pause. So again, in a situation where whether it's emergent or not, or maybe on the way to becoming emergent and you feel like you have to make a decision about how to proceed, you can have all the knowledge and statistics and read all the articles and watch all the videos, but in a moment like that, when you're in labor and you have to make a decision, all that goes out the window and you kind of freeze and you're like, I don't know what to do. So remember that nothing is an option. Remembering the N in brain. What if we do nothing? I understand my benefits. I understand the risks. I understand the alternatives. I'm using my intuition and my instincts to guide that decision. And then what if I do nothing? Or what if I need more time? Which is a huge, huge important thing to say to a provider or staff in that moment. I need more time. Please give us some privacy, 20 minutes alone to discuss our options. And so I always encourage partners especially to remember that N in the brain. Brenda's with us. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Amanda. Let me check in with my Instagram. We've got Mary and Devin. Hi, Devin. All right. So taking that brain acronym for making a decision and just creating a sentence out of it. So when you're approached with having to make a decision on how to proceed or your birth plan is changing, take that brain acronym and just make a sentence out of it. Keep it very simple, to the point, and direct to your provider or staff. And simply saying, I understand my benefits, I understand the risks, I understand the alternatives. I've used my intuition to help me decide, and this is my decision, right? And part of informed consent is informed refusal. You are allowed to have complete autonomy and agency over your choices, your body, your baby, and your birth. Hi, Sam. All right. So practicing this now, like I said, we're going to have a bonus day where I actually give you scenarios that I've witnessed personally, or clients have told me about, or other doulas have told me about. We're going to go over these scenarios that I've compiled, and we're going to practice using the brain acronym to make decisions. And I like to role play this now in pregnancy with my clients, and I encourage you to do the same, because you want to be able to make these decisions now, like in pregnancy, in a conscious state of mind, and know what you want. Because during labor, your thinking brain is shut down, and your hormones are putting you into a theta state of brain waves. So our normal everyday thinking brain is beta. We get into all these different labor hormones, and it shuts down the thinking brain. It puts us into theta. And so you don't want to be thinking. You want your partner to be able to voice and advocate for you. So practicing this now in pregnancy while you're in your thinking beta brain is going to be super helpful. Let's see. So before making decisions, ask yourself a few key questions, as well as the brain, benefits, risks, alternatives. Another couple of great questions to ask are, will I regret it? And do I have enough information to make this decision? And then a third great question is, am I still saying yes and or no? And so that goes back to informed consent / informed refusal. You might say yes to, let's go with cervical checks. You might say yes to being checked for dilation when you check in. That doesn't mean it's an umbrella yes consent for the whole time. If at any point in labor you decide you don't want a cervical check, you're allowed to change your mind and say no. And so a great question to ask when you have to make a decision is, am I still saying yes or no to whatever it is? Will I regret this tomorrow, next year, next pregnancy? Am I still saying yes to all the things that go along with it? And do I have enough information to make this decision? So some really great questions to ask. Amy is with us. Hello, Amber. It is making me try to go unassisted, so I won't be in the setting to cave again, or setting to make me feel like I cannot do it. It has made me more angry with medical and how America portrays pregnancies, birth, and labor. I am more motivated now to have the birth I always wanted, a powerful one, a magical one. No poison to my baby. Hopefully my back won't get worse this way. I'm also hoping I can have a henna ceremony to even add more positive thoughts. I love that. Are you talking about the henna on the belly? I love, love, love that. And another suggestion, have you heard of a mother blessing or a mother way ceremony? Let me know if you've heard of that, or if any of you've had it, let me know. It's something I offer on my service list, is hosting or help with planning the mother blessings or the mother way ceremonies. And so let me know if you've heard of it. I planned one for my best friend a year ago. It was like a year ago today that I was with her. She lives in North Carolina, and then a week later she had her baby. So a mother way or a mother blessing, it comes from the Native American tradition of honoring the mother. So It can be in place of or in addition to a baby shower, which is sort of the, like the American way of gifting everything to the baby and baby showers and showering. Mostly it's about the baby with gifts. So the mother way or the mother blessing takes into account the mother, and it's more ceremonial. It has like jewelry making, candle lighting ceremonies. We could do foot baths and rubs, meditation, yoga. I mean, there's so much we could do in it. But it's all just about nurturing and loving up on the expecting person. Amber Garcia, yes, yes, yes. I want all the positive ceremonies. Yes, do a mother blessing or a blessing way. You can even do the henna at that. Incorporate that in. Um, all right, so those key questions to ask. Will I regret it? Do I have enough info? Am I still saying yes? And ultimately, and we've talked about this, this is the theme that we're weaving throughout all of these days here. How do you want to feel in the process? And so if you are late to join in, Pamela chimed in earlier and said she was just hopping in to say hi. We want to send her all the love, all the positive vibes. She is in for an induction at the moment with high blood pressure. And so I just encouraged her to remember that we can't always control the outcome, and we don't want to think in an outcome-based way. We want to think in a solution-based way. And so how or where, what part of labor can we control? And it's really about creating, cultivating, and nourishing a feeling. How do you want to feel during labor? How can you create that? How can you maintain that? Nicole said, I got to attend an amazing mother birth for a doula that was given by all her friends and her doula as well. We did foot baths, belly painting, and affirmations. Yes, the affirmations are part of it. I love it. Love it. A mother blessing. It's so great, and I really should advertise that more because a lot of people don't know that that's part of my services, and I think it needs to become more popular. All right. So coming down to that feeling, how do you want to feel during your experience, regardless of how you get to the finish line? How do you want to feel? How can you maintain that feeling? How can you create that feeling? Success is a feeling, not an outcome. That's the last part. And so a couple of tips on, communicating when the plans are changing. We talked about the brain, using the brain to understand benefits, risks, alternatives, use your intuition to guide you, and what if you do nothing or you need more time, but also, and then making that a sentence. Another very simple, effective, direct strategy is just to say no. No, thank you. Very simple. I think we tend to overcomplicate that or think that we can't say no because it's being suggested again by this higher power, this doctor, this provider, this medical person, even a midwife, or it might even be from your doula. Again, I have felt, in one of the very first births I attended, I had the similar thing that Amber, was saying, where we had talked about planning for a natural birth, and then finally, when she got the epidural, she looked to myself and her mother and said, "I just feel like I let you guys down," and gosh, I was heartbroken. It is never my place to judge or dissuade you from any decision that you're making. If you change your mind along the way, then you change your mind along the way, and I roll with you. As long as I've given you all the information there is and you've made an informed decision, gosh, don't think that you've ever let me down or let anyone else down. And so, you're allowed to change your mind, use that brain, and you can say a simple no. Another two tips that I have that I love these simple, effective, powerful tips for communicating, stand up, right? We're in a hospital setting. If you're in a medical model of birth, you're in a hospital setting, you're either sitting, more likely you're laying on a bed in a hospital gown. And if you stand up, it's like you're reclaiming a little bit of your power back. It's putting you more in a power position. Even if you just sit upright and just switch your posture, roll your shoulders back, drop them down, sit straight, stand up, whichever one is, accessible to you at the moment. And just, it's called a power position, putting your posture, asserting your power with your posture. So stand up. The other thing I love is to just speak with your hand on your heart. And immediately, like I can feel my breathing slow down. I can feel my belly relax. And it just, again, it's bringing that energy, that intuitive energy from our gut brain, and allowing us to connect with ourself while we're speaking. So stand up, put yourself in a power position, put your hand on your heart while you're speaking and saying, I understand my benefits and my risks. I know my alternatives. This is the choice that's best for my family and I. No, thank you. Or, yes, please, whatever it is for you. Nicole, mother, okay, mother blessing. And so, like I said, we are going to have a bonus day. And so if you are joining me late too, I also announced that I have a client who is scheduled for an induction at midnight tonight. And so if I am there tomorrow, which I'm going to assume that I will be, we're going to push back. Let's see, today's Wednesday. So if we're missing Thursday, so Thursday will become Friday. We're going to take the weekend off, and then we'll do Monday and Tuesday for the remaining days, and Q&A on Wednesday, and then maybe our bonus day on Thursday. So this is going to go into next week if we get pushed back for my birth tonight. So just heads up, I will keep the group posted as my schedule becomes more apparent. Also, what else do we have? Keep sharing the way that you're sharing. Use the link to invite your friends in. I appreciate all the sharing, and you're gaining your entries, and we have the drawing. And let me check. I did the drawing. I spun the wheel for our prizes. Hi, Michelle. Spun the wheel for our prizes, and Amber Garcia, you're with us right now still, I hope. Amber was the winner. So I'm going to post that in the group so that you can see the wheel and that it spun Amber. And so send me a private message and choose your prize. Guys, how are you feeling? How are you feeling today, day 3, coping and communicating when the birth plan changes? So this is, we're brushing the surface here on just a few tips and tricks to prepare yourself. Again, birth isn't linear, it's up and down, and it's all around. We want to shift our mind from being outcome-based to solution-focused. How do you want to feel? How are you going to create that feeling? How are you going to maintain that feeling if plans have to change? Amber Garcia, no way, thank you. Absolutely, thank the wheel. I enter all the names and all the entries and spin it, and it is you tonight. So thank you, actually. You gain entries by joining the live, by commenting and interacting, and it's, I love doing this and giving in the live, but more importantly, it's the community and the connection, the interaction that we have this way through the live, through the comments, and it's really you guys that is building this and, energizing me to do this, and I love the giving of it. So thank you. Thank you for participating and being part of the group. Invite your friends to join, get your entries, win the prizes, and we do this once a month. So I'm here for you for 5 days once a month. And then if you have any questions about my signature program, we're going to be talking about that next week as well on a whole separate day, but DM me also, private message me and let me know. So yeah, and Amber messaged me as well and let me know what you would like for your prize. Um, and so yeah, this is just skimming the surface. Birth can change in so many ways, and it's not even about focusing on that, right? Because let's see, as Amber mentioned, it was that non-medical intervention of fear, that thought of fear creeping in, that manifested into reality. And so we're going to dig deep into that, maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday, depending on my schedule. But we can really see how our thoughts create our reality. And so really we can't touch on or talk about every single possible scenario because it's just impossible, but also we don't really want to. We don't want to put our energy and our attention to where we don't want it to go. We want to put our energy and our attention on the things that we do want. That's not to say that we don't prepare, or I'm sorry, that we don't plan for these things to happen, because we don't want to be surprised or uneducated about how things can change. We absolutely want to be, we want to plan for that, but what we prepare for are the things that we want, that our desires. Let's put all of our energy into that, and and then with the other, the scenarios and stuff, bonus day next week, we're going to talk about things that actually have happened that I've witnessed. We're going to practice that. Practice, like I said, it's having the what component and the how component, very two important components to have, but they're just stagnant. They're kind of useless if you don't have a catalyst to implement them, to integrate them, to practice them, to have it become part of your routine, to build the confidence, to build the trust in your birth experience. And so we dig deep into that in my signature program. And then again, the next 2 days of content, whenever they happen, that's really going to start to brush the surface of that catalyst that we need, if that makes sense. So, day 3, coping and communicating when the plans change, how to create, cultivate, maintain a feeling throughout, being solution focused instead of outcome based, using that BRAIN acronym to help you decide, but also as your communication tool, making a sentence out of it, or simply saying yes or no, standing up in your power. And in that power position, use your posture, use your positioning, put your hand on your heart, and make a confident decision. Any questions? How are you ladies feeling about this? Let me know. I'm really excited for our bonus day, actually, because I think you'll just be kind of surprised at some of the stuff that I've witnessed or other people have told me about. And, I'm going to be interested to see what your responses are to some of those scenarios. So that is what we have for today. If you're in Buffalo, New York, stay safe, stay warm. I guess we're under storm watch. And I've got my tea, my sleepy time tea, and I'm going to go take a nap before my client gets induced for birth at midnight tonight. So thank you all for joining, and I will see you back here hopefully tomorrow. If I'm still supporting Mama, I will let you all know how the schedule will be changed. Hi, Rashawn. All right. You have a great night and take care. And Amber, let me know what prize you want. I'll be in touch. Bye-bye.